Hey guys, it's Ruby. Thanks for being here. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't forget at the end of the video. I could really use as many likes and shares and subscribers as possible as I'm continuing to grow my little channel here. I just wanted to talk for a minute before we get started today about the really heavy energy that I'm personally feeling, and I think that a lot of other, especially divine feminines, are feeling right now. And I may pull some cards on it, but there's a couple points that I wanted to touch on really quickly about what I think we're all experiencing and what I'm getting from my guides in terms of messages about that. I feel like, I have a child that's going through something at the same time as I'm having my other child go through something at the same time, and it's severe stuff that I feel like I'm having more piled on me emotionally. And it's just thing after thing after thing after thing where it's like, as before I was dealing with maybe one or two things at a time, I feel like it's just compounding. And I've talked to a couple other divine feminines recently that are experiencing the same thing. I don't think you have to be a divine feminine necessarily, but I do feel that energy very strongly as being part of this regarding Black Moon Lilith energy that we've been going through. And I feel that part of my experience has been, as I'm getting rewarded, I've asked for a lot of my karmic rewards to come to me through awakenings, crown chakra, and ascension. And that part is definitely happening. I feel like some days I wake up and I'm in a different timeline. And, and then I'll be having a conversation with someone and I'll see what I view as being glitches in the matrix. I tried filming a video yesterday and I didn't have enough time because I had my child here that has special needs. But in the beginning of my video, I just had an orb that was quite large. I would say probably baseball size, just flitting around, flying around, right as I started talking about divine feminine. And it was only about a minute in. I don't know if I'll get a visit from my orb friend again or not. But one of the things that I can talk about is the guilt of feeling joy, feeling relief that I wasn't touched by Hurricane Helene. I live in North Carolina, but I don't live near Asheville. It went right past where I live. And those people's lives are, their livelihoods, their homes are destroyed. There's a lot of loss of life. And I know Florida's going through a lot too right now. I think for me, it's just a matter of discussing like what I'm witnessing that's directly around me to make my point. And that is that I asked my guides why it's okay for me to feel relief, because I felt guilt about it. I felt bad that I felt relieved that it hadn't happened to me. And the reason why it's okay to feel joy while other people are suffering is because they need that so badly. They need us to hold that light energetically and emotionally and spiritually, because they cannot. Because they can't feel it right now. That's what we're supposed to be doing, is holding that light for other people. And I feel like this transformation into whatever you want to call it, it goes by so many names, right? New Earth, moving into more 5D. Some people even call it Eden. the changes in the world are palpable. It's becoming more and more obvious. The darkness, energy can only be transformed, right? So it's being transformed from the darkness to the light. And what does it feel like as we're doing that, as we are shifting out of this? I sometimes say matrix, but I mean false matrix when I'm referring it to that. Because matrix is what we're in, obviously. But false matrix, as the holes of light begin to poke from the inside, as we see ourselves doing that, as we begin to take our power back, the darkness grabs onto us more. And a few years ago, when I started really having a lot of awakenings and things that were happening all at once for me, it's been over and over in my life, over and over in my experience, but I had a really huge round of awakenings that happened right around when COVID started, 2019, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And as I started suffering with those decisions that I had to make and changes that I had to make into my life, and I was navigating all of that, the reality of what my life was going to look like was really setting in. And I remember asking why, and what was happening to me. And there are different types of souls that are on this earth, different categories. There's, I believe, 3 types that are pretty well known and talked about. One is an earthbound soul, one is an interplanetary soul, and one is the heavenly realms sort of soul, that are all here incarnated at this time. And the most common are earthbound, followed by planetary. And there are ways to find out which you are unless you already know. And I believe that both of my biological children are interplanetary souls, for example. One of them actually has what looks like this huge birthmark that's about this long on her arm, and you can actually see what looks like the solar system on it. But they both also have angel wings on their shoulder blades that look exactly like angel wings. But I was told at that time, and have always felt, that I have been had a direct connection to Archangel Michael. That's why I have him in my description. He is my main guide of that realm. And every time I ask what my goal is and what my purpose is, it has been made very clear to me that I am of the angelic realm, the heaven-based realm, whatever you would like to call it. And what they said to me is, the time is now, during that phrase of time, so that would have been around fall of 2020, or right around that time when I was asking. And they said I had everything but one foot in the heavenly realm. And as I've ascended more and become more open to allowing spirit in and putting myself out there on videos on YouTube and things like that, that just started this past year because I had a deterrent that happened. Divine detour, I suppose you could say. As I've started doing that, I've had a lot of awakenings and crown chakra explosions and heart chakra explosion and kundalini awakening and all sorts of things that happened all at the same time. Where my 3D life looked like a disaster, a complete disaster. I gave away a bunch of money. I lost money. I had to sell a home. I was involved in other people's legal situations and all sorts of things that were going on. But as I continued to ascend in the 5D, and I found peace and solace in the universe and God and everything that was there for me, and I actually connected more deeply with my maternal grandmother, who comes to me as a cardinal and has been my main ancestral guide that I can put a name to. As that all started happening, I felt myself having more. I have a history of narcissists in my life, in every place. Friendships, relationships, family members, etc. And that's part of my path, which is on my birth chart. You can see it on my birth chart, which is a story for another day. But as I have ascended, those people, even people that had become dormant from the past, were coming back, and it felt like energetically clawing at my feet, energetically clawing at my ascension. And I have the understanding and knowing that they don't know necessarily why they're doing it. I believe that they do not know why. I believe they just know that they need to, or feel a pull to do it at this time. I think it's happening to all of us that are in a similar place. And I really hope that with me sharing all of this with you, that there will be someone who will be willing to express their journey and anything that they would like to share as well. But and it's coming at me from all angles, like it's like almost being like pelted with snowballs from a place you don't know, and you're looking around you like, where's that one coming from? Where's that one coming from? Why is that one happening? Feeling such intense fear through suffering of my children, which has always been probably my biggest trigger. Is not about me. It's about if my child is in pain or suffering in some way. And it's all revving up so much more than ever before. But at the same time, I'm seeing myself ascend more and more and having more gifts of spiritual awakenings. And, like just since June, I probably feel like, I'm going to take my sandals off. I feel like I may have ascended maybe 3 or 4 times to different timelines just since that point, just since I set up a ring light and I started giving more personal readings to people than I had ever done before, which has been an amazing experience. And I do have personal readings available if you want to check those out on the description box. There's a link there. And assisting people with breakthroughs in their lives, huge changes that are happening for them, and being able to support them has been life-changing for me. So it's like this duality of, I'm seeing like the High Priestess card, of the black and the white, the dark and the light, the duality of who we are and who we are becoming, and how light is now beginning to overtake the dark energy. Because I've often heard Earth referred to as a school, which is a great example, but it's not so much about learning as it is about remembering who we actually really are. And turning back on our heart lights, which have been dimmed down and dumbed down, and everything that we've been told and taught about who we are and who we should be, and what our role is, being less than, especially as a woman, or people that are treated differently in this world, people from different socioeconomic statuses, people that are in the trans community, people that are different ethnicities, that are all, or in the past have been treated differently. We are the ones that I feel like seem to be the ones, and divine feminine being one of those main populations that I believe are the leaders and the first wave, or one of the first waves of the transformation, the ascension, and the movement into the 5D energy. I'm experiencing it happening to me. I'm talking to other people that are getting sensations in their bodies that they can't explain. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about it, tingling, heart palpitations. I see breaks in the matrix. I see things where I can look at a window blind and I can look at it again and it looks like it's twisting and turning into nothing. Like that, image of reality is not what we think it is. And we are not who we have made to believe that we are. We are so much more. And that's what life, I feel like one of the main things that we're here to learn is about, not so much learning, but remembering who we really are and the depth of who we really are and how beautiful and amazing and huge it is. People talk about experiences where they have near-death experiences, or they remember incarnating on Earth and they can't believe that the huge soul that we are is somehow not stuffed into, but kind of like a sausage around our bodies and within this small space that is around our general area, because what we are is so huge and so much love and so much beauty that is why the veil has to exist. Because if we could remember without learning these lessons for ourselves and having that veil be there to allow us to remember it again, we would not want to be doing the experience. And it is the same thing for Gaia and the earth and what we're doing now. It has to come from us, and we have to do it without knowing what we're doing. We have to do it without a plan. We have to do it without someone telling us the answers. We can do it collectively, and we are starting to do that. But we have to do it ourselves. And isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever heard? It doesn't come without that pain. But I feel like divine feminine, if you're in a twin flame union, or not union, a relationship, energetic relationship, that is one of the understandings of the twin flame journey, is that it is not about 3D union. And I know you hear that all the time, and you try not to think about that part because it is painful to imagine not being in union. But I can tell you that you don't have to be, because you can focus on your own union. But it is a spiritual journey to yourself. We are the spiritual leaders in these situations, and we are the ones setting the course for the journey. Through our own spiritual work, we heal in separation. The divine masculine heals in union. But we are like one of the first groups that is going to be on the course of ascension, especially if you identify as a divine feminine or a light worker of any sort. And how do we do that? Even feeling all of this darkness grasping for your feet. They talk about the devil energy being anything that gets in the way. And I think that there is a certain level of desperation happening with that dark energy. But it's also one last hurrah of the energy that is going to continue to peak during this time as we go through this birth canal to the new. And I believe that darkness will try one last hurrah. That's why I see all these people from the past, people that I thought I had just forgiven, start up again, do more, come back with another round of something toward me last minute. And I'm seeing it happen to people that I know too. But those are their stories to tell, not mine. But I see it and I hear about it. And I believe that it's because the darkness, the people that are not coming with, the people that are teachers for us in our lives, are making themselves known again. Not that they never will come back, but it will be in a different space. And they will begin to start fading out of our lives. But we are here. What does it look like to be moving through this energy from someone who is doing it right now? I can explain to you what I feel. And that is learning how to breathe through my heart and be in this moment. And no matter what is coming at me in the moment, to live in a state of forgiveness and gratitude for what's happening right now, what I've been given, to try to not focus on the past and the suffering, except to choose to believe that it is that which caused me to become who I am now and to see things the way that I do now. And to try to understand that this is the Holy Grail for myself. To sit in any sort of pain, to allow that pain to be there, that remains. But to try to detach myself from that pain as much as possible in a way that I can see it from a higher perspective and to understand its purpose as being change maker energy for myself and anyone who has come in contact with me. But you are the beacon of your own change. The journey is within, and as we journey within ourselves, it changes the outer world. And that's why your light right now is so important, and why I had to get off of my butt and start making videos, even though I really didn't know what I was doing. And I'm technologically challenged, we will say. And I heard someone talking about having faith. And what does that look like? This bridge into the unknown. My nose is starting to run. Wow. And they were talking about how in Indiana Jones, in The Last Crusade, there's this cool scene of the invisible bridge where it's towards the end of the movie and he has this map and it's showing him that he's supposed to be crossing this huge, endlessly deep cavern into the abyss from one side to the other. And in the map, it's showing that he is supposed to be walking over this bridge that as he looks with his naked eye is not there. But in the map, it is, and it shows exactly where the bridge is supposed to start. But he looks down and he sees nothing but a fall, an endless fall into doom. And in that part of the movie, his father's injured and laying there and speaking to him, you can do it. And his friends that he's made are all thinking him through it. And I feel like those are our guides and our support team spiritually, whether they're incarnated now or not. And how do we take that step into what looks like the abyss? It is through that faith and that heart light of knowing that part of us that knows that understands that faith is our birthright, hope is our birthright, that it doesn't have to be about logic, that the logic part that has been so verbalized to us as being all and everything, it's really the opposite. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in spirit, if you believe in fairies and magic and things that are not logical, having the faith is our birthright. And what it means for us is to follow something even if it might seem illogical, even if it might seem delusional. That is what we should be doing. And going within to do that work on ourselves now. We will begin to transform everything around us, and as we do this as a planet, it is going to be part of the change. Because the heart is the portal. How can we stay in our heart? The Hermit card has the lantern with the star in it. And they're using it to guide them over that same sort of bridge that I was talking to you about. I'm seeing orbs. My little orb friends are showing up now. They are giving me some energy here, but the Hermit is going inside. The Hermit is doing the inner work. The Hermit is in the Hermit's cave, in contemplation, in meditation, in learning, in becoming a spiritual guide and guru. They're often seen as teachers, spiritual healers, all of that. But they're using their heart to guide them. A lot of times in that depiction of the Hermit, you see them crossing a very bridge that looks almost exactly like that. I'm going to find it here to show you the same sort of bridge that you see in Indiana Jones. And that light is what's guiding them through all of it. It'll be like the last card here. It's like the star is the hope, the star is the wish, the star is the healing. And it comes from our hearts. And that bridge is going to appear to you. And where is it? Where is it? Why do I not see this Hermit? Oh my goodness. That is awesome, kind of. It's leading us to our journey home. The journey home. This is the light. People even talk about the heart as being the electromagnetic field. There he is. Look. Is that not the same thing as Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade? That's what the bridge looks like as it is being as it forms in front of him when he takes that step. So let's get a card here and see what Spirit wants to say about what I just talked about. When you transmute the energy within yourself, you become an amplifier to power the entire grid of the world. Your light shining, that's why I have the lighthouse here, is all of us doing this together. So I guess, and I have all these light eyes showing up in the darkness. Inspired vision, clarity, perception, and revelation. And then underneath we have the consequence of fear, the frequency of fear, the self-fulfilling prophecy. This is the hand that's trying to drag you down. I'm going to read that one first because that's in the underneath energy here. Fear is a natural emotional reaction meant to keep us safe from danger. It becomes unhealthy when it's inappropriately prolonged. When in our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, they are fear-based and we keep rehearsing those fears, then our expectations, choices, and behaviors align with this energy. We begin to notice more and more reasons to be anxious and stressed, and we unwittingly send out a frequency that keeps us forever on patrol against outside threats. That's the devil energy, right? Lately, you might be more defensive, engaging in people-pleasing, or isolating yourself to avoid hurt. No matter what you're doing as a stress response, it's time to step back and let it be. You can't change the outside world, but you can make it an internal shift. First, ask yourself, is this decision based in fear and a need for control? Am I afraid of rejection or reprisal? Where do I need to say no? Then consider the act of radical allowing, letting everything, both people and circumstances, be exactly as they are without question. In doing so, you make room for your authentic self. Soon the fear will show itself for what it is, a temporary illusion. The power is in your attention. That's right. And you can't be in fear when you're in your heart. It is an illusion. Fear is not real. Fear is something that we have created or others have created for us, however you want to believe it, to be what can hold us back, what holds humanity back from doing this. And that's why the energy of fear is so heightened now, and that's why there's things that are happening in the world right now to keep us distracted and unable to make changes in our lives, because you can't make changes if you're sitting in fear. When we're not in fear, we're darkness's worst nightmare, because there's no comparison between love and fear. And that's why people say there's only those two energies in this world, because it's the truth. All right. So this one is called All Eyes Are Open. This is what else Spirit wants to talk about. Look at all these eyes in the darkness, like lighting it up, right? Inspired vision is the true nature of prophecy and prediction. It is not something that comes from knowledge you already have, but something new you receive from your higher power. Sometimes it comes unbidden as a glimpse into your future or a vivid download of how to solve a problem. Everything else is temporarily suspended in this moment of extraordinary clarity. In this way, your imagination is in service to your ability to receive the inspiration, the vision. It's different from choosing to see something, to imagine something by choice, or because you're influenced by something that you've encountered. Inspired vision is unique, and it's yours. You can make yourself ready for inspired vision by meditating to clear your mind and being sincere about your intention. Be aware of how you perceive things and avoid trying to influence or change what you see. Just let the vision sit within your awareness and allow it to show itself to you. You know where you want to go and what you want to achieve, so you're ready to be shown the details. Whatever comes to mind and feels like truth, no matter how odd or strange, write it down. This vision will likely surprise you, but one day you will tell the story of how the perfect answer suddenly came to you. Our perception is everything within these situations. You can choose to be focused on how, from my experience, what I was talking about earlier as the example, I can focus on how I feel like I'm being attacked and I'm having all these things happen to us. Or I can say to myself that I believe that the reason why those things are happening is because I'm ascending and because I'm making new steps within this ascension process. And it means nothing more than I'm moving forward and that darkness is trying to grasp onto it. But it doesn't have to have that power. For me, and this is a personal choice, but for me it lies in the act of forgiveness. Because in the act of forgiveness, it takes away the power of whatever is coming at you and allowing it to return or dissipate or whatever you want it to do. It can't hit its mark if you've already forgiven the person, even in the act of doing it. Whatever's driving them may not be what you think it is. And we can't pretend to understand what that may be. That thing that Jesus said, that little thing he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Allow yourself to sit in that divine detachment. That is not apathy. There's a difference. Stay constant, stay aware, stay in your heart. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.